Hello, I'm Court Rigby, and today I'll be talking to you about safety precautions surrounding exercising with MS and some common problems with commercial gyms.
Equipment we will be using for MS exercise adaptations will be a chair, bands, table, and a bike with back support.
Exercising with MS can be very difficult. It causes problems
Such as
balance, sensory loss in the lower extremity, as well as fatigue.
a huge problem with people with multiple sclerosis when they tend to exercise are balance issues. There is some physical impairment, especially with the lower extremities, in the sense that there might be sensory loss. There could be some breathing difficulties, lightheadedness. A lot of things you have to watch out for in terms of balance with multiple sclerosis. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. You probably want to hear about some problems associated with fatigue and multiple sclerosis. Fatigue can reduce exercise tolerance. That's why it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the exertion of your client if they have multiple sclerosis.
Man, I sure do love biking. It's such a good aerobic exercise.
Whoa. I sure do wish I could do that with my multiple sclerosis.
Well, guess what, Dave? You can.
Obviously, it's very important to keep intact our functional muscles and abilities. One of these abilities is walking. One of these walking exercises is assisted side walks. We'll demonstrate it for you. Make sure that if they go one way, you go back the other way. Another exercise that will improve walking would be alternating marches, standing in place. You can do this against the wall or just like Brody. Obviously, another great exercise to improve walking is walking. What I'm doing right now is I'm just using this roller to assist me, keep me balanced just in case I do have any issues.
The squat is a very great exercise to build all the muscles of the lower leg. When performing this modified squat, it's important to keep your feet planted about shoulder width apart, and you want to keep a nice tight core. You can have your hands to the sides ready to brace yourself if you need to. And all you are doing is standing straight up, and then you'll return back to the seat in the same motion, just like that. This can also be used as a modified dip. So you could use this to push off from the sides here, and that can also help to work the chest.
This exercise is to help with core stability, and it's called the sit and reach. So first you place both hands on something that's slippery on top of a flat surface, and then make sure you bend at the hip and try and keep a neutral spine. And slide forward, and coming back up, engage your core, pull yourself back up to a neutral spine position.
The exercise that we are showing here is a great alternative for the lat pull down. Now, it's important when doing this to remember that the client needs to be safely secured in their seat and should have supports at either side.
Now, Dave, I'd have to advise you to stop because it looks like you're going through an exacerbation period. If your client experiences these symptoms, have them meditate, focus on their breathing until they can return back to exercise.
The next 4 exercises your client will be able to do simultaneously to reduce fatigue. And what I mean by that is that your client will be able to stay on the mat the whole time. Without getting up, they'll just be able to roll over and continue with the next stretch.
Right here we have our MS client for our stretches on our table here. First we're going to do our hip flexor stretch. So we can have them hold their hip to the end and just help them assist and pull down on their leg. And then we can also have a hamstring stretch as well too. This is a passive stretch if they get too fatigued or have an extravasation. We can also do mobility 2 by just controlling their own leg and just moving in circular motions. Here's another example of a PNF stretch if your client doesn't do an extravation. This one's a bit different though because it's a PNF stretching, so you'll be holding it the whole time. If you don't know, hold for 20 seconds and then they resist against your stretch for 10 seconds and then release.
Some individuals diagnosed with MS lose the ability to walk as much as others. Therefore, it's very beneficial to do passive range of motion.
I'm going to show you some upper extremity stretches. The first one's going to be a chest stretch. So all you do is you place your hand on the wall like this, and then rotate your body away and you'll feel the tension in your pec there. This one's very important because people with MS tend to have a very rounded posture. So by stretching out the chest and by opening up the chest, we can help restore their posture back to what it normally is.
So here's another stretch for the chest. This one's a passive stretch. So you're going to get the client to sit in a chair like this. And basically, you're just going to put them into shoulder extension, stretch out that chest, hold it there for 30 seconds, and do the same to the other side.
As you can see here, we're doing a passive range of motion for the trunk. To do this, you simply lift your client's legs and move them from each side of the body to the other. Similarly here, we're doing a passive range of motion for the wrist and hand.
Here we're doing passive range of motion for the rotator cuff. This is important because your client can be very sedentary, not have the strength to be able to move their arms. So it's important that this is assisted and the person's very careful. Don't forget to internally rotate and also externally rotate as well.